We actually are going to go to USA Today Live now. Lauren Ashburn is with Jack Kelley, who is an expert on Osama bin Laden. And Lauren,
well, Jack Kelley was also in Israel, in Jerusalem, when the
suicide bomber.
The suicide bomber went to the pizza parlor, right?
Yes, that's right, Gordon and Gavir. We're on the 22nd floor of 1000 Wilson Boulevard in Arlington, Virginia, and we have watched as the jet crashed into the Pentagon. We were here. Jack Kelley, of course, came into work. He's our foreign correspondent for USA Today, and you're right, was there in Israel. Jack, what can you tell us? What are intelligence sources saying? Is this Osama bin Laden?
At this point, all fingers appear to be pointing towards him. He is the only person with the sophistication and the wealth to carry out something like this.
Is anyone going on the record saying this?
No, nobody at this point will go on the record, but every single law enforcement official is saying it's either state-sponsored or it's Osama bin Laden, and appears to be Osama bin Laden.
What is the FBI doing about this?
They have just launched their largest criminal investigation ever in U.S. history. They have dispatched teams to Washington, to Pennsylvania, and to New York. At the same time, the CIA is going through all of its intelligence over the last couple weeks, and the National Security Agency the same thing. And
it seems, based on military intelligence, that someone could have dropped the ball. Is that what you're hearing?
At this point, they haven't pointed any fingers at each other, but we're quietly beginning to hear was that, look, we blew it, our intelligence stunk this time. Put it this way, it was so bad that the FBI's anti-terrorist task force, responsible for investigating situations like this, was on a training exercise in Monterey, California at the time of the bombing, and still can't get back to investigate it.
Jack Kelley, Ford correspondent, USA Today. Gordon and Gavir, before we leave you, I just wanted to show you the international edition front page. Here it is, U.S. under attack. Hundreds feared dead as passenger jets destroy New York's World Trade Towers. Hijackers likely piloted planes themselves. Here, the terrorism coverage blanketing TV. And as you mentioned, Gavir, earlier, Major League Baseball canceled, stocks down. And for the first time ever, Tom Curley, the publisher of USA Today, said, we will not have stocks in our newspaper tomorrow.
Lauren, quickly, if Jack is still standing there.
Is Jack still there?
Yes, go right ahead.
Why now? Why now? If in fact, this is Osama bin Laden, why now?
Good question. We don't exactly know why. We are poring over every possible bit of information to find out what is significant about this day. Nobody seems to know why. The only thing we can gather at this point was that all of their plans came together on this point where they could hijack the certain planes, they could plant car bombs, but nobody seems to know. That is the $64,000 question.
Jack,
we don't know the answer.
Jack, the Mullah Omar, the spiritual leader of the Taliban, was quick to say that this was much too complex an operation for Osama bin Laden.
With all due respect to Sheikh Omar, I disagree. Having met Osama bin Laden's people and having known some of them very, very well, this is the type of activity that they would have planned for and prepared for years, and this has many of the hallmarks of an Osama bin Laden attack.
What is it about these attacks that have his fingerprints on them?
They are so sophisticated, they're so well planned, and he never actually comes out and takes credit for something afterwards. There is nobody out there who could pull off something like this other than Osama.
And apparently this would have had to include somebody who knew how to fly an airplane.
At this point, what they are investigating are looking at 4 separate pilots, or at least 4 separate pilots, who may have been associated with Osama bin Laden and who may have flown for other airlines, who possibly walked into the cockpit, shot the pilots, and then took over the planes.
And how do they get through security at this point?
Good question. At this point, the FBI has seized all the security camera tapes, and they're looking at the tapes as we speak. There are so many questions unanswered in this one. There's only one thing that holds true. Whoever did this really knew what he was doing.
Jack, President Bush earlier said that we are going to hunt down the person responsible for this, and they will have to suffer the consequences. We've talked in the past about how Osama bin Laden is a pretty sneaky devil and is pretty tough to catch.
There are contingency plans set to go, and the plans have been set to go for several weeks now on what to do if Osama bin Laden were to plan a very large attack. And they've selected targets within Afghanistan, and you can be assured that if it is Osama bin Laden, that the U.S. will probably retaliate, and retaliate massively.
Jack Kelley, USA Today, thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And joining us now is